As we get closer and closer to the election, you're going to see the actual victims of stop and frisk come out strongly against Michael Bloomberg. See, we're still too early in the game, but as we get closer and closer, he's going to have to contend with this. There were a lot of people in New York impacted by this, and the same faces that he didn't give a damn about back then, he's going to have to deal with and look at now. This came out in the LA Times, February 11th, 2020. Bloomberg faces new backlash over 2015 remarks defending police targeting of Black and Latino men. See, you can't do dirt like this and believe it's never going to come back on you. It's definitely coming back on you. Stop and frisk at the time, ladies and gentlemen. I remember when all of this was going on, and I remember all the stories that were coming out of New York that I would see. Impacted primarily Black and Latino men, but Black men got the brunt end of it as usual. And Bloomberg did not care. In fact, he praised the cops for being out on the streets and doing this. And most of the Black and Latino men were between 16 and 25 years old. They were heavily targeted and harassed on a regular basis. Women also got caught up in this, Black women, but the men got it far worse, and like I told y'all, there were a lot of things happening when stop and frisk happened that they are not talking about. Black men were robbed of their money. Cops were stealing money off of people, especially in the Black community. So if you got stopped and frisked and you had a wallet full of money, they would take your money. Women got felt up by these cops sexually that were doing stop and frisk. They were doing all kinds of illegal things out here to the public when that was going on strong in New York. See, it's not about stop and frisking and you're finding some crime. 9 times out of 10, y'all, they didn't find nothing. Very few people were arrested and convicted because this shit just simply didn't work. It just didn't work. It did not work out the way they claimed it was. It just simply didn't. They were not nabbing the people that they claimed they were going to get. See, whenever they try to set up evil plans against us, it always falls apart eventually. It always does. So, it's just like when you hear them, when you bring back stop and frisk, just sit back and watch all of the things that happens to those individuals that make those comments. It seems like their entire life starts falling apart after that. Hey, look, Trump tried to make that claim and his ass went through an impeachment. So there you go. So a recording of Bloomberg's comments in 2015 to nearly 400 people in Aspen, Colorado, has been posted online for 5 years, but began circulating widely this week on social media. And what I will do, I will leave the link to that recording. I'm not going to play it because it's well over an hour. 95% of your murderers and victims fit one MO, Bloomberg told the Aspen Institute audience. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. So what he's saying is you can count on them Black people and those Latinos always being the one. No, we're not always the ones. We're always the ones that are targeted. See, there's a big difference. So they are male minority 16 to 25. That's true in New York. It's true in virtually every city. No, it isn't. It's true that you target us in every city. That part is true. An unintended consequence of frisking young Black and Latino males, he continues, is people saying, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana that are all minority. Yes. In New York, they have a big population, just like all over the country, of people in jail for marijuana, low level drug crimes. They do not have a big population of people in there for violent crimes. When anybody tells you that, you can best believe that person is lying. They are lying, and they can't even prove what they're saying. I have done multiple articles showing that the biggest population in the jails are these non-violent drug offenses, remedial crimes. And they keep people in there as long as possible. And it's all about that corporation work. It is just the new slavery. That's all. Just like I told y'all before, when they wrote that 13th Amendment, that was exclusively for us. The intent from the beginning was for the Black community to be in jail more than anyone else in this country. And they made the plans and wrote the plans back in 1865, and they've been carrying it out ever since. Yes, that's true, Bloomberg said. Why? Because we put all the cops in the minority neighborhoods. Listen to what he's saying. Remember how we said we are being over policed? Did you hear what he said? Yes, that's true, Bloomberg said. We put all the cops in minority neighborhoods. Again, that right there just backs up what we've been saying all this time about being over policed. He's admitting it. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. That's not true. Remember, never forget when the police in New York were being picketed heavily for all of the shooting of unarmed Black people. Cops pulled out of those areas and refused to patrol. What happened? Crime went down. Never, ever let these folks that claim you need the police ever forget that. Crime went down when the cops disappeared. Never let them get away with telling you you gonna need the police. Never let them get away with that. One of the ways to get guns from those who are stopped, he added, is to throw them against the wall and frisk them. Listen to what he's saying to do to Black and Latino males. But see, when we say we're being targeted, these folks want to call us liars. But we got all of the evidence to prove that we are being targeted. And Michael Bloomberg is sitting right here revealing the whole thing. After nearly 2 decades of defending the policy, Bloomberg apologized for it. Remember? Oh, I'm running for president, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fuck you. But the backlash threatened to stall the billionaire's momentum after weeks of building support among Democrats who favor a moderate as the party's presidential nominee. Ladies and gentlemen, when they bring the Michael Bloombergs of the world forward as potential presidential candidates and they have the background that this man has, it should be rejected immediately by the Black community. It should. I don't care about Michael Bloomberg's apology. It is too little, too late, the way I see it. Mm-mm. But the backlash threatened to stall the billionaire's momentum. Okay. Now, what I'm saying to all of you is these folks that he did this stuff to, they're coming. They're coming in big numbers. You watch as we get closer and closer to election time. These folks that were impacted by stop and frisk, they are coming. They are coming in a big way. This is a dangerously disturbing worldview. Andrew Gillum, a black Democrat. Oh, I remember this. This was a guy from Florida. I remember he was running for governor, and I really believe they sabotaged that election. I still do. The one in Florida and Georgia, I believe both were rigged. But, you know, rigging things against us is just a normal pastime. Okay. Also criticizing Bloomberg was Tom Steyer, a fellow billionaire seeking the Democratic nomination. The racist stereotype he uses have no place today, and anyone running for the presidential nomination should disavow them, said Steyer, who has focused on building support from African Americans in South Carolina's February 29th primary. You know, like I said, no black voter should be behind Bloomberg. Just knowing this information, that should disqualify him from all of us. You know, if the white Democrats want to vote for him, let them do it. It's not enough of them to win without our votes. So they are no threat if they vote for him at all. Remember, they can't win without us. Black voters are a major constituency in the Democratic presidential race, especially some southern states where they dominate the primaries. A strong African American turnout is also crucial for the Democratic nominee in general election battleground states, such as Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Florida. For Bloomberg, New York police targeting of minorities has loomed as a potentially major obstacle in winning Black support. In 2013, his final year as mayor, a federal judge ruled that stop and frisk breached the constitutional rights of minorities, which it did, because it's not like you went out there and targeted everybody. Very few whites were stopped during the entire time Bloomberg was in office. But you see, this is practiced in New York. If you remember, the police chief, a story that I did a few months ago, told the cops don't target whites and Asians, target primarily blacks. So they have a history of doing this in New York, and they always will. So, ladies and gentlemen, just because Michael Bloomberg is a billionaire and he has a lot of money, it does not mean he is right for the presidency. And, and he just bears the same racism that we have seen for a very long time, you know? But to make a long story short, this man should not even have a chance with this kind of background at all. We should not even be looking or even considering him to even win an election in this country. And we do, as Black voters, because we are such a big block in the Democratic Party, we have the ability to shut down Michael Bloomberg. And that's exactly what should happen. This man is not worthy of being a president anywhere. And neither are any of the presidents, but him in particular. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Wow, we have seen this attitude from these folks from the start. Here we are hundreds of years later looking at the same shit. This is why I'm telling y'all, these folks are not the face of the future. They are not the future. They are very much representative of the past. They are the faces of the past. They are the faces of yesterday in America. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.